So guys, what do you think of my swing? Do you think there's hope? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Right. Have a look at the picture on the left here. And who's that guy on the left? That's me with the cables on. Who's the guy? That is Dr. Robert J. Neal, the world's leading biomechanic golf instructor. And I spent time with McIlroy, Justin Rose, Justin Thomas, heaps and heaps of tour players. That's just to name a few. He works with all the national teams around the world, the best coaches in the world, webinars, seminars, podcasts, and I had the pleasure of working with him for a couple of days. And great news for those that follow my YouTube channel and WorldClassGolf.com is that Dr. Robert J. Neal, we got along very well and exchange opinions and all sorts. We spoke for hours. He'll be joining WorldClassGolf.com and assisting me in the future with also YouTube videos. And for those that follow my stuff, if you're new to the channel, just don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. There's plenty of videos coming on. But we work with evidence-based material. And we're showing people how to really feel things as well. It's not just, you can be technical without being mechanical. When we get on the golf course, we've got to dumb things down and use, obviously, the right side of the brain. But we're working against tendencies. It's our hobby to change the swing around a little bit and get better contact. Guys, really interesting video here as we're taking a look at the hands and the wrists and how they work with the shoulders. We're going to be looking at a few different types of shots here. And I think it's going to be a real eye-opener for you. So let's get stuck into this video and get us all on the track to playing some better golf. So guys, we're going to be looking at the hands and the wrists and the shoulders here when you're hitting a pure draw. And then we're going to be looking at the deliberate fade here, what the hands and the wrists are doing. Now, this really is interesting because if you can't draw it, you can only fade it. Or if you can't fade it, you can only draw it. There's a couple of really good clips here. Now, the draw's obviously aimed to the right. Look at the club face control, people. Now, if you've been watching my other stuff, really recommending you getting the club face here, getting your wrist alignments here at 1 o'clock. Use your mobile phones. I'll show you how to film those just in the last part of the video. Now, looking at this entry into the ball, look at this thing coming in behind the hands. That's right, behind the hands in this direction. And that club face is really in a wonderful position, isn't it? Look at this. Right up, just pointing on this side at 12 o'clock. We've been looking at that now for quite some time. Right, if you don't have a TrackMan, if you don't have a flight scope, this is what you're looking for. And we'll see the release here. This is an interesting part. See how the club head is releasing and rolling over. We can see around this spot here. This is what I do when I show perhaps the club players. I get them trying to work the hands, and the advanced players at times, we're trying to release it underneath. Okay, so we're trying, advanced players tend to draw the ball a bit too much. Now look at this club face. Look at the fade staying out in front. The club pointing over. A lot of people believing that that's what flattens the plane. And that's an absolute. That's in your 5 worst tips. Now that club's coming in a bit steeper and over the plane. All right. And he's going to release it more underneath. Now you can see these two different releases here. So some of the old school stuff, trying to get your divot straight. If you're not, if you're cutting it, it's good, not a bad thing to do. We'll definitely see a deliberate release here underneath. Now, Tiger Woods mentioned that, didn't he, about in a lot of the videos, the left hand, the logo pointing up. A lot of good players here almost feel like the heel of the club stays up. And it's a great swing thought, really. But we can see what happens to the shoulder planes. A lot of these players, when they're trying to fade it, you'll see the faders often having a steeper shoulder plane through the ball. See that club face rolling over. But looking at the numbers, you see these numbers I'm drawing, mid-50s is pretty normal, 60 degrees is quite high, up around there. But these numbers, this is part of the V1 Pro system. This is the best analysing system in the world. You can get this on WorldClassGolf.com for $99. It's normally around $500 or $600 for the year. These are some really interesting positions here through the golf ball. Let's have a look at the straight shot. Where's the straight shot there? If you're hitting just a pure straight shot, how does it actually look? Well, it's somewhere in the middle. Actually, what a golf swing this is. Coming in behind the hand, still in that perfect position there. But through the golf ball, it's not quite as much. But, we're getting somewhere around, maybe just a touch high. But it's interesting looking at the shoulder plane in connection with the hands and the wrist and this club face control. Controlling your club head and hitting different shapes. I mean, if you're just hitting it straight down the middle of the time, that's not bad either. Let's now have a look at some driver positions and some wonderful compressed, trapped, pure pitch shots and give everyone a real great understanding. Before I show you guys a quick setup on how to filming with your mobile phones. So guys, we've got two great drivers of the ball here, McIlroy on the right, and two great ball strikers. We've got Lee Westwood on the left, and we're seeing Lee Westwood a fader. We're seeing McIlroy more a drawer of the ball, natural drawer. Looking at the club face positions here, we can see that that club face pointed more up to 1 o'clock. Great place to be. We'll see Lee Westwood here up at 12 o'clock. Now let's get rid of those and we'll move in a little bit further. Let's have a look here at this position here. I really want you to pay attention here. Look at the right hand here, something you can mimic. All right, now if McIlroy opened up that right hand, where does it point? You could actually do that yourself. You could take it back and get that position, take it back and get it back to 1 o'clock, then up to here and get that right hand, and all of a sudden you're mimicking a great player. Now, what we're going to see at the top, this is why I love this V1 Pro system. Now, this system that I'm using, this is the best analyzing software in the world. This is used by Butch Harmon, Sean Foley, all the great instructors. Now, guys, when you have a look, the reason it's so great is you can get in there and you can just save your swing easily. Have a look at this line here, 25 degrees. I'll have a look at this one here. We're down into the 42s. Now, I really like to see the club face here with drivers under 30 degrees. Now, this V1 Pro system, it's normally around $600. On if you're a member of WorldClassGolf.com, it's around $99. It's pretty remarkable. You've got so many model swings, but really high quality stuff. Looking at these releases, people, this is where you can actually pick up some really good feels here. Watch these two players come down into the golf ball. Obviously, one's coming down a little bit more shallow, and we're seeing Lee Westwood's going to come down a bit steeper. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can actually come down on that plane and make millions of dollars, as Lee has done, right? So, but we're going to see really a strong release here. Look at that club face really rolling over. And through the ball here, you can really get a gauge of that club head really rolling over, and the shoulder's quite shallow. Right, now through the ball, watch this right hand. If we opened up that right hand, whereas it's pointing, lead wrist moved into extension. And the fader, we're seeing it release more under. And look at that left shoulder way up in the air. Now this club face is really not released as much. It's not as hard. And the shoulder plane completely different. So by using your shoulders and your hands, both can affect each other. Now if you're out there hitting certain shapes or certain shots, or if you're struggling, it's a really, really important place to be. But what's not going to work is just simply poor technique. When we start to fan the club open, it's just not going to happen from there. All right, it's going to flatten your shoulder turn. It's going to bring you into a nasty place here. I've never seen anyone hit it good from there. 25 degree shoulder plane. That needs to be between 30 and 45. No wrist angle here, tipping it over and out there hitting balls all day. You can shank it, you can cut it, you can hook it. Right, but what we need, we've got different feels for different shots, haven't we? When we're looking at great pitches. Have you seen this Tyrrell Hatton pitch? Look at that for a shaft. Look at that shaft splitting through the forearm. And you get in there and have a look at that wrist position. This is where it gets interesting. You see a lot of really good pitches bowing that lead wrist down, but then holding it off. It's almost like then they don't release it coming through the ball. Even though they're getting 12 to 18 degrees of shaft lean, it's really, really trapped. This guy hits some of the best short irons in the world. He's got a bit of a weakish grip. That's why he'll bow it down. But you can see that club head there. Look at the club head control. You can see the crease in the back of the skin. All right, this is pure compression, people. So if you're struggling with your compression, you can bow this wrist down, but then it stops bowing down. You've got to then release it underneath. You're not going to be getting this type of release here with your longer clubs. Look at Steve Elkington here. So this is where it confuses people. You can actually put it into different groups.
World Class Golf Instruction has over 700 detailed videos for every golfer. Practice programs and evidence-based material is applied to helping you to become your own coach and play your best golf. Join us in the chat room and join the community of World Class Golf Instruction.
All right, understanding patterns, so much information coming to you on World Class Golf Instruction. Really important part is I'm teaching people from online all around the world, and it's helping so many people. Understanding when we're looking at plane and we're looking at pitches, we're looking at shaft lean. This is a really important area to get your all-round game working in the right direction. Having a look at slightly underneath plane on the way down. This nice little pitch shot here, looking at your shaft lean, looking at lateral movement, and just becoming really, really good with your technique and understanding it. And that's part of the game, isn't it? I'm getting lots of shaft lean there in and around impact and just stealing these fields. Guys, So filming your swings with your mobile phones is something that a lot of people do when they're setting the online lessons, or with the work on world-class golf instruction. So you're really getting your hands on some great information. Now, setting up your cameras, it's important. What we do is we just pop down a couple of clubs and we get the phone set up in the exact position that we're after. It's important to do this so that your analysis is really spot on when you're playing nicely and recording your swing. I'm just showing in this video here some of the things that we're showing you what not to do. Now, with this video on the right hand side, it's really we take it to the point where we show people how to upload swings, download the app. For a lot of people, perhaps some of the people are a little bit older and not quite used to some of the lines and angles, but a great way to improve your golf and get your hands on great information. Online lessons, guys, CraigHansonGolf.com and WorldClassGolf.com. As I said, Dr. Robert J. Neal joining, and a lot of great information coming your way.